All right, well, we've made it up to Cades Cove, and we're about to go on the loop. So the loop is 11 miles. It goes actually around all of Cades Cove. It's just beautiful. Stephanie picked up one of the tour guides. It's just $1, but it kind of lets you know all the different historical buildings and things you can see along the route. But we're going to go about halfway on the route first, and then going to stop and do some hiking over at Abrams Falls. But the drive up here itself is just fantastic, but you'll want to get here early in the morning because there's a lot of traffic that this is like the most popular both loop as well as trail. So make sure you get here early in the morning. It reminds me of when we were in the Grand Canyon, where it's hard to put into words just how beautiful, how majestic all of this is.
True story. And just like the Grand Canyon, every time we go a little bit further, it looks different. So I know that when we put up the photos, it might look like you had said earlier, a little bit of more of the same. But man, when you experience it, it's breathtaking.
It is like a moving watercolor picture. It's just, I find myself, wow, and then wow. And then visually I've got like 16 exclamation points behind it by that point. So just a couple of tips. Once we left Gatlinburg, I think we maybe saw one gas station. So make sure you fill up. You're not going to run out of gas, but you may have a spouse that is concerned if you're on half a tank. Once you get into Cades Cove, it's only 11 miles, but I think the average speed I've seen thus far is like about 8 to 10 miles an hour, and it's one way the entire loop. And so people are very gracious about pulling over. There's a lot of pull-out areas here to take your time. But you're going to have your windows down. We've seen some people with pickup trucks where they'll have their portable seats, camping chairs, and they put them in the back of the truck. We've seen some kids just leaning out the sunroofs. But it's just a beautiful experience. There's a little bit of a traffic jam back there, and by traffic jam I mean we're all going like 2 miles an hour,
right?
Because there's a couple rangers, because there had been a bear sighting. Interestingly enough, we saw a couple people on bikes that were still looking for them. I'm thinking, bears like Meals on Wheels. I wouldn't be on a bicycle stopping to see if I could see the bear, because I'm pretty sure they could see them before they could see the bear.
Now, on Wednesdays too, it's worthy of noting that vehicles are not allowed out here on the loop. It's for bicycles only.
Right.
So if you want to provide the bears with Meals on Wheels, you can do that on Wednesdays, but don't try to come down and drive through on Wednesdays.
Correct. All right. So I just shared news with Stephanie that she did not know. I thought she had, that although my family had a camper and we would camp, it was usually to like the modern campgrounds. And so my first time here to Smoky Mountains was about 5 years ago, and I grinned ear to ear because I had never done anything like this before. I was very much a 4 and 5 star hotel, guided tours kind of person, and I just fell in love with doing this. So I'm glad we're doing it again, but she's still in shell shock that I've never done.
Who has never been hiking until they're in their 40s? Besides him.
So
anybody?
So
I'm shocked.
you told him I'm in my 40s.
Well, the first time.
Oh my gosh. Really?
It's true.
Wow. Hello. Okay. But the point being is that you're never either too young or too old to take advantage of opportunities like this. Is that the point? Or was the point to show up that I'm not in my 40s anymore? Which one was it?
So
Yeah, we'll continue this conversation later.
I'm just wondering, like, who's not been hiking out in nature before?
Most people.
That's insane.
Most people. But, part of what we're trying to share is, we've got a nice resort that we're staying at, Sunrise Ridge Resort. But, it took us just an hour to get over here to Cades Cove, and then a good 40-minute drive, on the loop to get to this point. And, at the end of the evening, and we've got sandwiches and things with us, but at the end of the evening, we're going to be back at our hotel.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
Ready
Agreed.
to go?
I'm ready. Let's
All right.
go.
All right, we made it.
We made it all the way to the falls.
So, and it was hour and a half.
Pretty
Hour
good
and a half
time.
to get here, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got past a lot, but we weren't necessarily in a hurry, so no big deal. A lot more people here than what we expected, but like a lot of people, they're looking for other options for getting out during everything that's going on. So we're very happy to share it with them. So we're going to sit down, have some lunch, relax, and even wade in the water a little bit before going over here to the waterfall itself.
Yep.
Enjoying it?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
We're about halfway back, so there's this nice cutback that's got it's built out of a rock formation, and a lot of us are kind of sitting. And
It's got a nice flat area. It's in the shade. I saw it on the way down and decided on the way back it's about halfway. It's a good place to stop and rest.
egg people on their way over there,
Right?
because it's more downhill than what you imagine.
On the way there.
Because on the way back, you
It's
spend some
more
time
uphill.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're so relaxed from maybe taking your shoes and socks off in the water, and to get back, and then it's like 50 degrees incline.
It's steep. And I was so winded that we had to stop. This is our second stop. Just take your time.
Ain't no shame in taking your time. We've seen newborns who surprisingly aren't walking. to people that are in their, easily their 70s, and
Yeah.
everyone's kind of taking their time and respecting distance and having a great time. So
Yep, definitely worth the work to get there for the views.
yeah, absolutely.
I know I said I wouldn't stop, but I need to sit down.
Ah,
What a day.
we did it.
The best part about the trip back was Chris being here with a bandana soaked in the melted ice.
Well, I hadn't soaked it in it. So we took we brought 2 coolers on the trip, a large one and then a smaller one, so that when we, came here, we didn't have the big cooler. We didn't have to take it back out of the room, and we could put the sandwiches and some drinks. But most importantly was ice, so that when we got back, I could take my kerchief that I had, and it's a kerchief. It's not my handkerchief. It's actually a nice blue one. Put it in the ice cold water. But you can also do the same by just having wet wipes, the small like $1 packs that you can get at Walmart. Just keep those in your cooler, and when you get back, there you go.
There you go. Or those disposable washcloths that we get.
Yeah, which we still have. In fact,
So-
I think I'll use one now. If I can find them.
So those are handy too. They are like those sponge animals that start in a capsule
See?
and then you get it wet.
Now
It
take
looks like a makeup sponge. And then you get it wet, wait for it, for it, and voila. It becomes this disposable washcloth.
Ta-da! So we'll put links for these as well, but they're also nice. I can just like put it on my head like this, and put my hat back on. Boom! Got myself my own air conditioner. Bam! So, anyways, a round trip. It's 5 miles. We did it
All
in
uphill?
3, all uphill, both ways. It feels like it. But we did it
3
hour and a half
hours.
there,
Yep.
hour and a half back. Spent an hour there, so that's a total of 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, a total of 4 hours. We counted it. There's 4 bridges. So the first bridge you go over is actually like a regular bridge,
Yep.
and then you're going to go over 3 sawn logs that have just one
Railing.
railing. So you go 3 of those. So that was one thing we couldn't remember.
The last one is there, right there at the waterfall. So
Yes.
by the time you get there, you're done.
And you'll know you're there because you'll start to hear the rushing water, and you'll start to hear people.
Yeah.
So
There were a lot of people there.
there's a
today.
lot more people there today than what we would have liked, but we were able to get it solid out there before we started feeling uncomfortable in terms of one, how close they were to us, and 2, how many people didn't have have some sort of gaiter or other type of PPE. So
I want to say that there were very few people who had masks today.
yeah, that was disappointing. The number of people who didn't have masks. I think one guy that passed us made a comment that I think he was kind of making fun of us a little bit, but that was okay. But
I was going to ignore him.
Yeah.
Just acknowledge him.
yeah,
I don't have room for people who are like that. So I was just going to act like he wasn't there.
so I think so we got here like around, what was it, 11:30?
11.
Yeah, about 11. We started at 11:30. I would generally recommend, if you're going to get here closer to between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
One, you're going to miss a lot of the families that are here, right? Because they're going to be getting a later start. So hopefully you'll be able to get there, get some time at the
Yeah.
falls,
Yeah,
and
that would've
start
been
heading back
good.
before they get here. Also, just be aware that there are 2 restrooms, but they are barely what you would call restrooms. Holes in the wall with porcelain around them. So,
Yeah, they're yeesh.
yeah, definitely have someone waiting outside for you with hand sanitizer, because you'll want it. There is a space in there for them to put hand sanitizer, but obviously it's empty and you still have to touch the door and all that. I mean, they're clean, relatively clean, but they're just basically glorified holes in the
It's
in the ground.
They're outhouses.
Yeah. So
yeah. So
well lit.
Yeah.
And everything, but just be aware that it's not like a regular bathroom.
Not at all. No running water. No nothing like that. So yeah, but if you got here early too, then the trip back wouldn't be so blazing hot.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, it's 3:44 now. Yeah, we saw people that are on their way there. There's two things you want to be aware of. One, obviously they're going when it's a little hotter during the day, and you can go on weather.com and get a sense of what the temperature is going to be. You know, kind of pace yourself that way. The other thing is that the park does close at sundown, so you know definitely don't want to be in a situation where you're coming back from there and the sun is starting to set a little bit, and you're not able to see your footing as well. So
definitely not. So this trail, it says it's moderately difficult. And what that means is break an ankle if you don't pay attention. Yeah,
you definitely want to pay attention. And you know, if you want to, so there's an app called All Trails. It's a fantastic app that you can go in and actually put in Abrams Falls, and it'll give you not only the details on the fall itself, the hike itself, but it'll also give you recommendations, and you can actually record it. So it'll actually record your trip, and I'll see if I can actually show ours on there as well. But it's a great way to kind of keep track of the hikes you've been on, as well as get some details from people that have been on them, so you kind of know what to expect.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Merrill's.
Yes. Woo!
So Chris and I went shoe shopping.
Yes, for our Nairobi trip.
Safari. But we had to have some kind of closed-toed hiking shoes for safari.
Yep.
And these are wonderful because they are lightweight.
Yep, they're ventilated, but they're closed-toe.
And they're ventilated. And they're very supportive, and they've got good traction on the bottom. So for trail walking like today.
I honestly didn't feel like I had shoes on. They're just fantastic.
Yeah, but lots of support in the bottom, because this was very rocky, and some of the rocks were very sharp that you had to step on.
Yeah.
So I very much appreciated these shoes. So I just want to say shout out to Merrill's.
And we saw some people wearing like tennis shoes. Some of them wearing some nice tennis shoes that kind of gave you the sense that they didn't know what to expect. There will be some muddy areas, even if it doesn't rain, because you've got water coming down from the mountains, and they're going to get dusty. They may get beat up. We saw one person wearing a pair of yellow Crocs. You know, you just really want to take care of your feet, take care of your ankles, and just wear some good shoes. If you've got some hikers, this would be a good experience, good opportunity to wear them as well, and some really nice socks that will help to draw the moisture away from your feet. So,
yeah, for sure. And the other thing is, take your water shoes and wear a bathing suit under your clothes. I didn't know. You get there, and
I think that was a bathing suit she had. I told my mind, you know what? Oops, can't look. I'm assuming that's her bathing suit.
Whatever. So, like this.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of people in the water, enjoying the water. We got in the water some.
Yep.
But you can go all the way in under the falls. Had I been thinking about it, I would have worn my bathing suit.
Yeah.
Or something that I could have faked as a bathing suit.
And a couple of things to just note about that. One is, like Stephanie said, you'll want to wear some water shoes or
something, because those rocks are slippery and sharp.
Slippery and sharp.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want is to have an injury out there in the water, or have someone slip and hit their head on one of the rocks. So be very cautious with that. Secondly,
they're very slick.
Yeah, if you do want to get in the water, be mindful of the fact that there is a pretty strong current. So it's very easy, especially if you have kids, for them to get out there too far.
Yeah.
They slip, and next thing you know, they're going on down river. So just be mindful of stuff like that, and pack a lunch. So we were surprised there were some folks there that commented they wish they had brought some food. So we brought 2 water bottles each, and we also had some that we left in the car. So that's the other reason to bring this, because we saw some people that had just a water bottle. Honestly, I think by the time they start heading back, they're going to wish they had more. But my guess is, if you're going to take water bottles, have 2 per person at least, with the expectation that when you get back to the car, you might want to have at least one more water bottle per person. Sure. And depending upon the size of your family or the group that you're going with, you may need to actually take your larger cooler. But for us, taking one of these smaller ones, we could do so. but definitely bring lots of water. You won't regret it.
Yeah, for sure. One bottle on the way there, one bottle on the way
Easily.
back, and one bottle after you're done.
Yep.
Mine's already gone, and we just got back. So, oh, and there's no restrooms.
Yes, there's
From
no restrooms
here
on the way.
Back to here, there's no bathrooms. So thankfully, I sweated out those 2 water bottles, but I'm just saying, like, there's no bathrooms. So I was a little conservative drinking my water on the way there because I did not want to have to go potty because there's no bathrooms.
So, like we said earlier, we're halfway through Cades Cove Loop. So we're going to hop back in the car, finish the rest of the loop, and start heading back. But this has been fantastic.
What a fun day.
Congratulations again, sweetie.
Yeah, thank you.
She is quite a trooper.
That was fantastic.
All right. We'll talk to you. Stephanie prayed for it, and about 10 minutes before we're outside of Cades Cove Loop, I saw my bear.
We saw a bear, and it wasn't. It went beyond my wildest expectations. I expected a bear 50 feet out in the woods that you could barely see. So I was looking for one because I'd prayed. So I was looking for a bear because Chris really wanted to see a bear. And then there was this long line of cars. Everybody was stopped.
Yep.
And Chris was like, I think there's a bear.
I think there's a bear.
I was like, I don't know.
Because you see, everyone will stop, and you're supposed to like pull over, but no one's pulled over. And I was like, well, dadgummit, there's a bear, and everyone's in the middle of the road, so no one can pull over the side. And so finally, I got out of the car, and to be fair, one other person got out of the car too. Got my accent now. Anyways, one other person got out of their car too, and we're both like, and we walk up there and like, hey, if you all looking at, they're like, shh, it's a bear. Like, I know it's a bear, but you need to move over so we can all get up near the bear. And they did.
And Chris will share the footage.
Yes.
It's like it was a bear 5 feet off the road bear. And it was just, didn't care about the cars, didn't care that we were there.
And we almost got to see the bear have a meal. Because there were a couple older people. If you ever watch this, the guy in the red shirt and the lady, you guys were like this close to being a Happy Meal. Because I was looking at them, and I was looking at the bear, and I was like, okay, it was a cub. It was a cute cub, big cub. But I was like, the mama's going to be around here, and the mama's just going to be eyeballing you. And I was looking at both of them, and I'm like, they can't run fast enough to get away with either the cub or the mama. So let's just see what nature has in store for us today. So, but got to see the bear.
Yes. So our day is now complete. Got to see the bear.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.